Hello. Today's stories come from r/best of Redditor updates. Ooh, another installment from Best of, and it's a smorgasbord today of 3 recent favorites that are funny, surprising, and unintentionally self-reflective. Our first story is a comment and update to an r/sysadmin question asking, "What asinine work at home policy has your employer come up with?" Today, mine came up with a brilliant idea. If you're not at the location where your paycheck is addressed, you're AWOL because you're not home. Gonna suck big ones for those single folks who periodically spend time over their significant other's place, or for couples that have more than one home. I'm not really sure how they plan to enforce this, unless they're going to send the work from home police over to check your house to see if you're actually there when you're logged in. Updated in September 2022. You can't make this junk up. A while back, I posted this thread about the stupid policy my employer has enacted where work from home means you have to work at your HR registered street address. And now, in the words of Paul Harvey, it's time for the rest of the story. Today, I found out why this policy was enacted. A few weeks ago, in a meeting with HR, the HR rep made a comment about the policy being enacted because people weren't working at their houses, but were taking vacations, unapproved, and working while on vacation. Digging around a little with my friends high up in central IT admin, it seems a senior administration official who never uses a computer was participating in a Zoom meeting. In the Zoom meeting, one of the participants was apparently at the beach participating in the meeting remotely. Except she wasn't. She had her Zoom background set to the tropic theme with the palm trees and ocean in the background. The moron thought she was participating remotely from Aruba or some nonsense. He went to bring her into HR on disciplinary charges, but didn't know her name because Zoom has pretty pictures of you, and he didn't get her name. Or maybe she had edited her setup to just show her first name, who knows? Based on that, the wheels start grinding where we need a new policy where everyone has to work at home when they work from home, or you're considered AWOL. When someone finally realized what happened and brought it to his attention, senior IT people got involved, which is how I ended up finding out about it. They explain the Zoom background to him. Rather than admitting his mistake, he doubles down with how the policy is necessary and becomes even more vested in making it a reality, rather than admitting his mistake and looking like a complete moron. No, I'm not kidding you. This is not urban legend territory. I'd laugh if it weren't so stupid. Edit 1. I'm wondering if I can use this new policy to my benefit when I am on call. If I can't work from anywhere other than my HR registered street address or I'm considered AWOL, I guess this means when I am on call and not home, I do not have to answer my phone or emails, since I would technically not be working at home. Then again, this dip potato chip administrator may decide this means you can't leave your house when you're on call. So good, right? Anyone that works from home and frequents a Zoom room knows that background all too well. How embarrassing to mistake it for an actual beach. Let's check out the comments where we'll find some hilariously malicious advice. Someone said, obviously make a background of your workstation at home, then go to the beach and use it. Someone else said, I made my Zoom background a video of me sitting in front of my computer looking interested and occasionally nodding. Pat Billington added, I did this too, for fun. You need very subtle movements and neutral expressions. The loop won't be long, so nodding will likely make you look like a bobblehead doll. Crock of Pot said, someone needs to use the outer space background and really blow this administrator's mind. Laugh my butt off. Squirrel Girl VA said, or use the cat filter, but then they'd have to explain to the administrator that they're not a cat. Meddling Dragon said, Your Honor, I am not a cat. Competitive Fee added, still one of the funniest clips I have ever seen. Emerald Lovenbolt said, malicious compliance. Constantly update your address with HR anytime you need to go somewhere in case you have to work while there, even if it's just for a weekend. Fire off an email with your update address information every single time. If they just shrug and accept it, escalate. Going to the movies? New address. Shopping? New address. Visiting your mom for a few hours on the other side of town? New address. Brown Sugar Bear added, have your paycheck sent to a P.O. box. They said where your paychecks get sent. Would love to see how they police that. So much extra work because one idiot didn't understand Zoom backgrounds. Our second story might make you think you're about to read a tragedy from r/relationships of a guy who doesn't have a clue, but then you'd miss the unexpected ending. The story is, My girlfriend told me she was with a friend, but that friend was with me picking out an engagement ring. How do I confront my girlfriend about her lie? God, this is a doozy. I swear my life feels like a movie right now. Sorry for the weird formatting. I'm on mobile, and this is my first time posting on a sub like this. I'm a 28-year-old male, and am planning on proposing to my girlfriend of 3 years. She's 26. Now, I suck at picking out jewelry. I'm the type of guy that doesn't see a problem with heart-shaped jewelry. Seriously, why is it considered so ugly? So every time I want to buy something for my girl, I usually consult one of our mutual friends. My girl's best friends are all friends with me as well, and we all get along well. So asking them for help picking out jewelry is something I'm used to. When it came time to pick out a ring, I consulted my girlfriend's best friend, Justine. Fake name. Justine and I are quite close, and she knows my girlfriend better than anyone, including me. So when my girlfriend went out to visit her sister and new baby nephew, I invited Justine over to the house to help pick out a ring. Justine and I looked through a few catalogs, but decided it was a dead end, and it would be better to go to professionals at a jewelry store. However, I didn't know when my girlfriend would be coming home. So Justine and I thought of a clever text to gauge how much time we had. I asked her when she'd be coming home, as I was ordering takeout and wanted to know when to tell them to have the food ready by. She responded by saying it would be a few hours. She met up with Justine to go shopping. Now, obviously, this took me by surprise since Justine was standing inside my house. I showed Justine the text, and she looked as confused as I was. It isn't out of the ordinary for my girlfriend to meet up with people out of the blue like that for shopping, lunch, etc. She's a very spontaneous person and loves making plans on the fly. So ordinarily, I would have believed this text in a heartbeat. However, obviously, this had to be a lie. When she came home, she acted completely normal, and I played along, but it's been really hard to act like everything's fine. We got takeout, ate together, and cuddled on the couch after. So far, she's caught on a little that something's upsetting me, but I just can't tell her what. Looking at her kills me. I don't know what to do. My girlfriend and I have zero trust issues, and we tell each other everything, so this lie is killing me. I want to ask her about it so bad, but if I tell her I knew she was lying, I'd have to explain why. And I really don't want to do that. What do I do? I know she lied to me, but I don't know how to confront her about it. Should I just forget it? This won't stop gnawing at me. Please help. The update. Hey guys. Oh my God, where to begin? My last post got way more attention than I could have ever imagined. Suffice to say, it was a tad bit overwhelming. Seriously, the amount of people begging for an update was a bit dehumanizing in a way. Like I wasn't a person going through something, but more so a story. But I understand. I just want to say thank you so much for all of the support and wonderful comments. I got a lot of great advice that helped me tackle the issue head on. I also got a lot of really kind comments and messages. It was awesome. I also got a lot of comments that made me realize how toxic this sub can be. There were many comments that just said things like, she's cheating, it's over, and don't even confront her, just leave. It's advice like that that can ruin relationships that just need a little work. And thank you to the people that told me to hit my girlfriend, told me I was an embarrassment to my gender, and best of all, told me I should encourage an affair because it would lead to great experiences for me later in life. You gave me a good chuckle. On to the update. I decided to confront my girlfriend. I thought about using some of the lies people suggested, but they just wouldn't make sense. To say I ran into Justine somewhere, well, I told my girl I had to stay home and do stuff around the house, and that's why I couldn't go with her to see my sister-in-law. To say Justine was helping me pick out jewelry. It doesn't make sense for her to come all the way to our house to help me pick out a piece of jewelry unless it was a serious piece of jewelry, like an engagement ring. If I just wanted to get her a piece of jewelry as a gift, I'd ask her friends for suggestions or ask them to send me pictures of jewelry she might like. It all happens over text. None of the excuses made sense, so I decided to be honest. I basically just said that I knew we'd been thinking about marriage and she probably knew a proposal was coming soon, so I invited Justine over to help me find her the perfect ring. And that so happened to be the day that she said she was going to see her. So, what's the deal? She immediately started grinning like an idiot and prodding me about proposing in the ring. But then we got back onto the topic of where she was, and she confessed what she was really doing. No, she wasn't cheating, and no, she wasn't picking out a ring for me. The amount of times that was commented was crazy. So, some people are dog people, and some people are cat people. Well, me, I'm a snake person. I grew up with snakes my whole life, but I never felt I was able to get one because my girlfriend has always been uneasy about living with a snake, which I completely respected. Also, the process of buying and raising a snake is very different than that of buying and raising a dog or cat. It's quite complicated. So you can imagine my surprise when my girlfriend showed me a picture of her holding the cutest Kenyan sand boa I have ever seen. Needless to say, my girlfriend was going to surprise me with a snake. We're picking her up next week. Let me know if you want a pet tax. She's so cute. I definitely did not expect this, and I feel bad for ruining the surprise, but oh well. Life is good. Sorry if this isn't the ending you guys wanted or expected. Just a snake. Thanks for reading. Oh my gosh, this is the cutest thing ever. A couple that was planning surprises of an epic proportion for one another at the same time. These two are the best. Let's check out the comments where I find all the puns I can. Quackslake said, rattled over nothing? Sheldon's brain added, dramatic people are going to have a hissy fit. Quoth the Hedgehog said, people really need to shed themselves of all these ridiculous preconceived notions. Hollywood Hoedown added, you can't let negative thoughts slither in. Quoth the Hedgehog replied, all the verbal venom these people are spewing will just poison your mind. Red81 said, I'm glad to see honesty and communication triumphed. Congrats on your future engagement, your new pet, and a happy resolution. Edit. I'm also chuckling at the too long didn't read. Snake, but not the snake that everyone was thinking. Depending on how you think it would go over, I'd be tempted to name the snake Justine. Our third story takes a turn. It's sad, but probably one of the most sincere, introspective, life-defining things I've ever read on Reddit. So how can I pass on that? Our story is, my fiancé is convinced I have a crush on my friend's husband. My best friend Sarah, 26-year-old female, and her husband Matt, 28-year-old male, have put me in a very difficult position with my fiancé Jack, 30-year-old male. I knew Matt since my childhood. He was my neighbor, and we were friendly. Sarah and I were roommates in college and became close friends. When I introduced Sarah and Matt, they hit it off and started dating each other. I was happy to see two of my friends get together, but also annoyed that I became the third wheel and was often ignored or set aside because they were so into each other. By the time I graduated, Matt had completely dropped me as a friend. That saddened me, but I was still good friends with Sarah, so it was what it was. Sarah and I would frequently hang out, but I never talked with Matt other than the occasional polite hellos. Sarah would sometimes try to do couples dates with her and Matt, and me and my dates. I found that Matt had developed an unpleasant personality and would frequently be rude and condescending towards me. However, he's a very devoted and loving husband to Sarah, so for her sake, I ignored him. When my fiancé and I got engaged, we had no plans to do a party. Sarah was disappointed that we didn't throw an engagement party, so she organized a small get-together at her home to celebrate us. The party was nice, and as things were winding down, my fiancé and I went to thank Sarah and Matt for their sweet gesture before we took our leave. Matt was pretty tipsy by then, and out of nowhere, he suddenly hugged me and in front of my fiancé said that he was so glad that I was finally settling down and he is relieved that now I'll be over the crush I had on him. I was shocked and told him that wasn't true. He just laughed and told Jack that I was always chasing him, and he had to work hard to keep me away. I dragged Sarah in and asked her to please fix this mess, and she was all like, oh, he's drunk, ignore him, and says, you know I always trust you. I know you wouldn't act on your crush. Jack was pretty upset by this point, and he walked out. I ran after him and tried explaining that this isn't true, but he told me he doesn't want to be anyone's second choice or their backup plan. Since that night, he isn't talking to me or returning my calls. I've talked to Sarah multiple times to clear things with Jack, but she's rushing me off. I don't understand why they believe this or why she'd stay friends with me if she thought I was into her husband. I was in her wedding party and did all the work because her sister, who was the maid of honor, was too busy. I have helped her through her pregnancy and have babysat her kid so many times. She never gave me any indication she thought this, and why would she want me close to her family if she believed this? I feel humiliated that these people think I was pining away for a jerk like Matt. I need help in convincing Jack this isn't true. I am also mad at him for throwing away our relationship over what some drunken idiot said. I don't know what I'm going to do about my friendship with Sarah. Update. I talked to Sarah again and asked her, first of all, why she'd think I had a crush on Matt. She said that when I first introduced them, I had talked up Matt and gushed about him, and she took that as me being into him. I said I was fond of him since I've known him for a long time, but that doesn't mean I want to be with him. She said when they started dating, I was often upset about it. I said I wasn't upset about their dating. I was upset that she'd make plans with me and then leave me to be with him. And when we were all together, I didn't enjoy being the third wheel while they ignored me. That had nothing to do with wanting him, and more to not liking being left out by my best friend. I asked her why she hadn't said anything before, and she explained that she could manage the situation. She had asked Matt to stop talking to me completely, and she engineered situations so there was little chance of us socializing with each other. I asked her now that I have explained that I never had a crush on Matt, can you please talk to Jack and tell him? She said she didn't want to lie. This frustrated me immensely. She could ignore this imaginary crush for years and manipulate me, but won't talk to my fiancé to help my relationship? I told her I was done being her friend. Thinking back, I was always doing stuff for her, and she used me, but did little for me. Update, posted yesterday. I wrote a long letter to Jack explaining the entire history of my relationship with Sarah and Matt with the recent screen caps. I asserted, as best as I could, that I had never pined after any guy and loved him, and he was my only choice. After days of silence, Jack agreed to talk to me. We met, and he said that he sees two ways of interpreting this situation. One, Matt and Sarah are right, and he doesn't want to be my second choice. Two, they are malicious people who are messing with me, and that shows very poor judgment on my part that I'd have a best friend like this, and he doesn't want that quality in a life partner. Either possibility leads to the same conclusion that he wants to call off the engagement. He reminded me that I had represented Sarah as one of the most important people in my life. I jump up and help her all the time. I had once canceled plans with him to take care of her kid when the baby was sick. It had irked him, but he had seen it as me being caring and nice. But now he's seeing all that in a different light. I cried and begged him not to end our engagement, but he wanted a break for a while. I thought over what he said for a few days and came to realize that he was right. I was a clingy friend and a doormat. I never even saw how much one-sided my friendship with Sarah was. I was a doormat with Jack, too. I didn't want to get married or have kids this early, but agreed to his timelines. I gave up an exciting job opportunity with more money because he didn't want me traveling for work. I love him, but I need to fix myself and be stronger. I gave back his ring and ended things. I returned all the gifts he gave too. He was offended by that, but I didn't feel good about keeping the very expensive things he had given me. He makes a lot more than me and was very generous with what he gave me, but I can't keep that now. Sarah was quiet for a while, but then started calling me. I ignored a lot of her calls, but this morning I answered her call and told her about the breakup. I was looking for sympathy from my old friend. She was more interested in knowing if I was still going to watch her kid while she and Matt went on an overnight trip. She got pretty angry when I said no. I have blocked her now. I have lost my fiancé, my best friend, and my relationship with my nephew, whom I adored, all in one go. But still, I am thankful for the comments that showed this wasn't something I could fix and helped me rip off the Band-Aid and walk away from this mess. This story really demonstrates that you teach people how to treat you. Interesting that Jack had no problem when he was the beneficiary of OP's tendency to bend over backwards for others. But when it's for Sarah and Matt, she's a poor judge of character and unworthy as a life partner. What the heck? That said, in the end, that is ultimately the turning point where OP realizes that she needs to look inwards and change some things. Let's check out the comments for some surprisingly great insight, which is generally a tall order for Reddit. Someone said, "Poor OP, I've seen it before, but if you act like a doormat person, then you find yourself with people willing to take advantage of you. I hope she can work on herself and stand up for herself in the future." Mayo Take said, "Hopefully without developing major trust issues, too. This kind of situation can really frack with people." Admirable Core said, "I felt her pain like a punch to my own chest. Poor thing. I do believe she will end up in a far better place with far better people. I hope she updates." Someone else said, "Even ignoring all the backstory, imagine telling your best friend, 'My fiancé and I broke up. Sorry I can't watch your kid right now,' and them getting angry about it? Add in the, 'We broke up because of you,' and that makes it 100 times worse." Local Finance added, "It's all fun and games until you lose your free babysitter." La Fancy Me said, "People are also glossing over the fact that apparently Sarah thought OP had a huge crush on Matt before she and Matt had even met. So from Sarah's point of view, her bestie gushes about some guy she's known for ages and has a crush on. Sarah then continues to date the guy her friend is crushing on, and then purposefully destroys their decade-long friendship because she is uncomfortable with OP's crush. Maybe if you can't handle your friend having a crush on your partner, don't pursue someone you know your friend has a crush on. This is Friendship 101. Don't go after the guys or girls that your friends like. If you do decide to do so, then don't have the nerve to then get upset about it as if it's anyone's fault but your own. Radio No added, "What's the odds Sarah's marriage breaks down soon after she actually realizes that OP was never into Matt, and she didn't win anything by getting with him?" If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.